How on earth did we end up with a guitar pool?
And he shows me a YouTube video of like a drone flying around this pool, and it's in the shape of a guitar. He's like, this is what I want in my backyard. It fit his budget much more reasonably, and so we started running with it. The end product, the homeowner loves it. I absolutely love it. It's just a beautiful thing, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it.
All right, welcome back, folks. Another episode of our Denali Deep Dive Podcast here again with Mr. Devon Wilson. We are at the guitar pool.
Yep.
So let's talk about the guitar pool today.
Yeah, happy to.
How on earth did we end up with a guitar pool? What was the inspiration behind that? How did you come up with it? How did you build the stuff around it to coordinate? Let's start off with, most of the time,
Right.
when we go meet with a potential client, almost always we're at their kitchen table and then in their backyard.
That's right.
The there is not there yet.
Correct.
So as you sat down with Andre and his family and you're looking kind of at this blank backyard, quite a grade, how did this design come to life?
Right.
What was the inspiration? What made it be a guitar?
Yeah. So let's go back to the dining table.
Yeah.
So we were inside the house. And he whips out his phone and he shows me a YouTube video of like a drone flying around this pool, and it's in the shape of a guitar. He's like, I love this concept. I love this pool. This is what I want in my backyard. Okay. I said, great. Let's start with a design concept. As I get into this thing, we'll talk a little bit about budget, kind of where things are at. And so with that video, he sent it to me, and I was able to simply freeze one of the shots of the drone directly over the pool. I froze it in the video, and then I did a screenshot. And then I was able to take that screenshot, then import that into my design software and simply just trace out that guitar pool.
Yeah.
Or at least trace out the guitar.
The guitar, yeah.
Just because with the elevations and everything that we had in the backyard, I wasn't able to do all the elements that were in the video, right? So I started with the guitar shape, and I kind of came up with a design around the guitar pool. And I go back to him. It's like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. We got this cool spa that's in the shape of a guitar pick. It's pouring into this pool that goes around the guitar. He's like, I want a bigger pool. He's like, so it's like, I want at least 8 or 9 feet off this edge. I want 14 feet off of this edge. I want 12 feet off this edge. I was like, let's talk a little bit about the budget. Okay. I'm happy to design the earth and the star and the moon for you, but let's talk a little bit about budget. And so we sat down and really dove into the budget and kind of figured out what he wanted and what he wanted to spend.
Yep.
Right. The first go around was just huge rock grotto, boulders. Every single one of those boulders is set by hand. It's a ton of work.
Yeah. All
labor intensive. It's all handwork. You can bring it in as close as you can with a machine, but by the time you set that thing down, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 guys literally setting that boulder down and mortaring. Huge costs in just labor alone.
How many tons do you think was in the original design?
I would say easily 120 tons in the original design.
That is crazy.
The largest design I've done is 50 tons, and that's huge. And I just said, hey, Andre, this is going to blow the bank. This water feature alone is like $250,000, $300,000. He's like, okay, let's scratch that, but I still want a cool water feature.
Yeah.
And so we came up kind of with this hybrid of a water feature / walkway. I call it the Catwalk.
Yeah.
That kind of creates and mimics the falling water, gives you great sound. It gives you the cave feel of a grotto to swim underneath it. But because it's built out of block and simple masonry and concrete, way much less expensive.
Yeah.
Much more reasonable. So as we kind of threw this water feature in with the package of the pool, it it fit his budget much more reasonably, and so we started running with it. And so at the end of the day, with the pool and blowing the pool up and adding this water feature, we were able to stay into his budget. And then as the project progressed, he wanted a little bit more landscaping, a little bit more hardscaping, until that kind of just ballooned into an awesome project that took us about 9 to 12 months to fully build. It was pretty complex.
So yeah, that's we've touched on that before, like build times and all that. What I don't think we've touched on much is design, the design side of that schedule, right? When you get into a super complicated project that has multiple pieces and parts of the design, a lot of features.
Right.
This one, we'll talk about features, but we're talking about structures and bathrooms and retaining walls and fencing and railing. There's a ton.
Right.
What did it take from the time you sat down with Andre and his family, that dinner table YouTube video, until you got far enough to be like, yeah, this is it. This is the bones. This is the design that we love. Obviously, that kept growing through construction, even, right?
Exactly.
How long did it take from the time you sat down at the kitchen table till we had something nailed down that was what we wanted to build?
So I had my first, we'll call it our rough draft concept, in a week. It took me a while. That's 8 hours a workday plugging away at this thing. With that, you kind of put some preliminary numbers. You start running scenarios, running pricing in our bid book and so forth. And so after that first week, that first round of rough drafts, by that second week, I came up with a final draft that included the integration of the water feature and everything else, and kind of a flat deck space with the turf, right? And so between the meeting at the dining table and 2 weeks later, we pretty much had this design, this concept dialed in.
Cool. And then that obviously, we built the original plan, right? But as I sit here and look past the railings, we did a lot more as that came. So
exactly. You look past the railings and it was just natural grade all the way down. He's like, I love the look of this pool. I'd love to have a little bit more flat space in the backyard. What would it take? And what do I need to do to create a flat space? Well, when you're on a hillside, the only thing you can do is build a wall, backfill behind it, and create a terrace.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
So I feel like elevation is a huge part of this design, right? Like
Central
different
Texas,
levels and those kind of things.
hill country, right?
How do you see that in your brain, Devon?
Right.
Is it more the homeowner directing, hey, this is what I want, but they have no idea what that means? How do you see those things in your mind's eye to then put them in a design? And
I want to say for me, I think I have a gift. I want to say that I have a gift. A lot of people just can't see three-dimensionally. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of our design software. With the elevations and everything that I take in my first meeting here, I'm spending an hour just combing the backyard, getting an idea of what the slope of this backyard is compared to the house. I input all that information into my design software and it brings everything to life.
So let's back up, because I think that's super important. Knowing the existing conditions, it drives 100% what you can do in the backyard.
100%.
Whether you're going to have a foot of the pool out of the ground or 21 feet of the pool out of the ground. What tools do you use to make sure that you have that information accurately?
Right. So I come out with we call it a zip level. So it's a way to measure a 0 elevation versus a negative elevation or a high elevation.
Okay.
And so with that level, I'm able to walk around and make elevation points all over the yard.
So you're gridding the yard.
Exactly. I take, corners, fence lines, property lines. I create a grid from the perimeter all the way back to the back of the house. And through all those touch points, elevation points, I can import all that information into my design software, and it does everything through topography, and it gives you a 3D rendering, a design of what the backyard looks like.
Right. And then you can design the terrain, or you can design the pool around the terrain.
Correct. So
That's
first thing is the pool. That's the big elephant in the room. Let's build the pool and the deck first, right? That actually acts as retaining walls. It acts as a buffer zone for a lot of movement that goes around the pool.
Cool. So you come meet with Andre and his family.
Right.
A week, you've got him some rough drafts. That's probably on a project like this, like that's hammering away for a week, right? And then you have I guess a second design meeting with them, and then during that second week, make some pretty substantial changes, it sounds like, to the bones of the pool, end up stretching the pool out, getting rid of all. So I talked with Andre before. He said that initially it started out, like you said, with all this boulder work.
Yep.
He was like, yeah, Devon told me that was kind of old. kind of outdated, right?
You know, you see a lot of times you see boulders at like amusement park at Disneyland, right? It's a great feature, but to me it's kind of dated. Really cool in the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. Everybody with a cool pool had a boulder rock feature.
Right.
We're in Austin. It's a little bit more modern. It's a little bit more clean lines.
Yeah.
And so it kind of fits that bill a little bit better.
I like it. And then we move into, you see it in your head.
Yep.
You've got the design in the design software. Now you can see it in 3D.
Right.
But we kind of talked about as the project went along,
right,
and you start, well, really Andre and his family start seeing a few things. There is additional work.
Exactly.
There's, I think a slide was late in the design. I think we have some retaining walls down there. How do you do that? Like mid-construction, how do you pivot?
Right. So we got to it's like tag team, we got to kind of stop construction, and we got to think about this thing. What exactly do we want to change? If we're adding a water feature, or a water slide, we got to get water to it. We didn't plan for it, and we've got some stuff in the way. So now what do we got to do? Kind of unzip things a little bit to prep for the new things. Right. So as much as we want to keep the project running, sometimes if it's a big enough item, we want to stop construction, think about it, work it into the project, where it fits into the scope, into the construction timeline, and then kind of move things.
Cool.
Reset.
So obviously it's done.
Right.
They've lived in this pool for what?
It's been done for about a year.
So they've lived in it for a year.
Yeah.
You've seen it multiple times. We've photographed it. Today we're here running the podcast here. As you walk around today, do you look around? How does it make you feel when you can kind of put your stamp on something like that?
I mean, it's a beautiful thing, right? It was a long time running in the construction phase, a real long time getting it permitted. I think we put the city of Lakeway for a loop. I mean, this isn't an everyday thing that, a building department sees in the city. HOA approvals, that was another hurdle that we had to get over.
A what in the backyard?
Guitar? A guitar. I mean, what is this thing gonna be? And so I had to do some hand holding with the HOA, and but at the end product, the homeowner loves it. I absolutely love it. Walking around, I've seen the landscape change. As the seasons change, the landscape change. And it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it.
Well, man, I don't know what else to say besides good job. This is
appreciate it.
This is a fantastic project, and you've got an eye for it. But you said you have a gift. You humbly say you have a gift, right? I would not so humbly agree. It's fantastic, great job, and man, what a way to rep what we do as a company.
Excellent.
So, fantastic job, man.
Thank you.
Hey guys, another fun episode here today at the Guitar Pool. We've said it more than once. If you like what we're bringing to you and you enjoy this content, please subscribe, give us a like, and come back for more.